Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Hot Mic. It is the green group here for the GPL Stage 2, Week 4. We've got one more week of action before we hop into the $500,000 playoff next weekend. I'll be your host, Maven, and I am joined by a very, very stacked desk. This is going to be a fun and spectacular show. Immediately to my left, Patrick Price at Cloud9. How you doing, buddy?
Me, hi. Yeah, I'm good. You know, looking forward to playing my buddy Krim. Usually it's just once a year, but this time it's twice. There
we go. Hey, and you've actually been on the show almost as much as I have at this point.
Unfortunately, I have, yeah.
I appreciate you coming on. And a first-time Hot Micer, he just told me he's never watched an episode, which hurt my feelings. It's Krim 6 of Optic Gaming.
How's it going, guys? This is the craziest thing. This is the craziest lineup this Hot Mic has ever had.
Oh, right? Absolutely.
How would you know if you don't watch any of them?
I don't watch it, but I'm just assuming.
Yes. We got one ring for Pat, a ring for Krim, 2 for this man, J-Cap of Envy. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. It's great to be back here again. Should be a good show here.
And Cap, tell me about your travel here, because I heard you actually, I've only slept, what, an hour or two?
Probably like 3 total.
You look
maybe
great.
4. Nah, I don't feel great. Yeah, but Tasmo kind of sabotaged us. We showed up to a 10:30 flight at 9:45, and they weren't taking checked bags, so we got to get put on standby for a 7:30 a.m. flight this morning, and it was horrible. Just all around horrible experience.
I'm glad you made it here. And Dave, on the end of Epsilon, you have only competed in 1 COD champs, but you got a 4th place finish, man. What's it like? You're up here with a pretty stacked veteran group.
Yeah, there's one thing you forgot to mention, see, is that in a 1 month time, I'll be having one of them rings as well.
I believe it. This could be the year, man. A deep run, and you guys have been looking so good throughout this year in IW. Now, we like to involve you guys on Twitter. We have a social call out each week where you can either ask questions or give your feedback based on various topics. This week, what's your favorite hashtag CWL Champs moment? Use the hashtag MLG Hot Mic and please tweet it at MLG for a chance to have your tweet used later in the show. I know that's been promoted throughout the day, so we've already got a couple snagged, but please get involved. And we would like to take one of the questions we got from earlier in the day from people on Twitter right before we get into various topics this week on Hot Mic. So the first question, let's take a look. That's going to come in from The Great One. What's better, having 2 COD championship rings, J-Cap, 30 LAN wins in Crim 6, or a 3-1 record over Optic at Champs and Eggs?
Well, that's a solid one.
So, Pat, you told me one of your losses does not count. Why was that?
Yeah, that doesn't count, does it? He was on my team then. We got
Optic.
Yeah, in the 2013 champs. That S&D.
Oh,
that whole event doesn't count.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, Too Quick, man. We love you, but you let us down that year.
That's pretty bad.
Well,
yeah.
We've got a ton of champions on the desk. Now, I know we have this week, guys, we also have playoffs right around the corner, but we're going to spend some time talking about champs just because it's 3 weeks away. We're excited to get to it. It's going to be one hell of a conclusion to the year. If you haven't seen it yet, the champs promo, the hype video was spectacular. I want to show it here. We'll kind of chat through this one together as well because the opening, I know you two in particular. Look, there's Pat.
Yeah, look at this. Yeah, can we get a pause?
Yeah,
where's our
Krim?
pause at?
Yeah, pause on us.
Yeah, oh, look at that.
They fade you out of it.
No respect.
And then attach. He looks like he's 8 years old. And then I'll tell you what, I love this shot of Cap. I love this shot of Cap.
I look great. Yeah, it's not much fun.
Carried to 2 champs. This man deserves a 3rd ring for that.
But who is going
Wait,
to
hold on.
next?
The guy behind you was better than you, though.
What's this?
I don't remember that.
Oh, this is last. Oh, you guys are funny.
I'll be honest.
That was tough.
It was Courage's idea. But I just love the Pat and Krim there on the end.
I'm putting down my headset.
It was fun having you.
It was great to have you here, Krim.
What happened after that series, Pat?
That was a sick 1v1. What happened after the series? Yeah, we got costed. You know, we believed that we had to do interviews, and then we come back and Fab Esports is over there warming up already, and then sleeping on
so
it.
wait, it's actually crazy though, the dynamic from champs last year, because what, Envy sent Optic to losers, what, in round 1?
We had Envy in pool play.
You knocked them out. You guys were in pool play. Envy, Fob played at one point earlier in the tournament.
Semis.
Then you knocked out Cloud9, so it's actually kind of crazy, the dynamic between these teams just from champs. But as we get ready to go into it, thankfully, Krim hasn't left yet. I want to talk about last week. So who got a chance to watch some of the matches from, I think, the toughest week thus far by a landslide?
I
watched some.
Yeah.
Not all, but some.
Well, I want to talk about some of the different scenarios here for these
I think
guys.
Red, honestly, I mean, I know the rule technically put Splice first, but I think Red was a better team last weekend than Splice.
Well, yeah, we're going to touch on that because you see they actually, well, they won more maps, but obviously you lost
But
both
they
your
beat them
series.
twice.
I didn't know they tied.
Yeah, they tied, but Splice won the head-to-head with the two.
Yeah.
But wasn't one a 3-2, though? One was
Yes.
super close,
Yeah,
yeah.
they-
Who did Splice lose
Doesn't
to?
matter.
There's 3 losses.
Splice lost what?
To United,
Both the
one
United, and they got
Rise.
3-0'd by Rise, I believe, as well, which was like the really weird thing. I
Wow.
think that kicked off
It was
day 3.
day 3, yeah.
Yeah, it was the first match. All right, let's talk a little bit. I want to talk through each of the finishes. First off, I'm curious, Cap, I want to hear your, I guess, thoughts on this E United roster with Clay. Were you surprised they came out, I guess, as good as they were this week?
I would say I'm a little surprised. I think Clay specifically hasn't looked that great in this game until last weekend with this new lineup. He looked like a monster, like he was back in AW when I played with him, and that's a scary Clay to play against.
Well, he had, I think it was like the #1 overall KD, the #1 hardpoint KD, the #1 uplink KD, and the #4 search or something like that, which I have been critical of Clay at times because he's a very streaky player, doesn't always produce consistent results. I was surprised, honestly. I mean, we know he's good, but I didn't expect him to come out and do that.
I think for me the most interesting part was like this was kind of a forced trade, right? Like there was only these 2 players that could make this swap, and I think RCD's being so willing to switch to that K-bar role is one thing. It's just let, hey Clay, do what you want to do on the map, which is kind of the same freedom he had on AW on Denial, where it's just like, hey, you're an AR, have your way with the map and get kills. And I think he did that really well this past weekend.
I think it's the last time we could say he was probably the best AR in the game, or at least in the conversation, certainly for AW. Let's talk about Splice next. Dave, I know you're one of the few players that doesn't watch matches some weeks because you're a strange cat. But this team, I know you have a rivalry obviously brewing with them over the course of this year. What went wrong? I mean, Mad Cat said it was embarrassing. I think most of us agree.
Yeah. Well, I think, like, from a spectator view, people like say Zero's like the best player on there, but he's not. He's nowhere near. Like them 3.
What's interesting to hear,
The
though.
other 3, they have to, like, I rate them so much more, right? So
Interesting.
like if Trey doesn't like do what he normally does, it's hard for them to win. But I think like if he doesn't do good, like he'll get down on himself. So his head just
Oh yeah,
probably wasn't there.
he was clearly in his own head. He was using a different reticle every single series. It seemed like.
You saw his tweets too about like wearing a different outfit because
Oh,
he
yeah.
needed it or something. Yeah.
That's why, like, I mean, we can talk about how important skill is, obviously, but mental, if you're not there, that's 90% of the game. If you don't have your head about you, you're going to struggle. Red Reserve then next. You played them, I believe, what, at Anaheim during your losers bracket run. What about this team, I guess, impressed you? You know, rated now on the roster. They've obviously had some good finishes. Fell a little bit short, though, this past week.
Yeah, so, like, I mean, we started out really slow against them. At that Anaheim, I think it was, like, our second match of the day. We went down, like, 100-0 and then, like, 210-90, and we eventually came back and won that map. But I think that team is just a team, if they get out to a hot start, they're super scary, right? But I think they came down in some of his matches, lost first map, and then kind of lost composure. You saw it on the camera, like, they were always kind of head in their hands, just not looking confident. I think that's something that hurt them a lot.
I think it was Vicento I talked about. He's like, we're a team that thrives off energy in a way, and when you're never winning map 1, it's kind of difficult to get something going. Krem, let's talk about, looking forward to Rise Nation. Let's talk a little bit about Rise. This is a team that struggled with early maps. Krem, what's wrong with this team in your opinion?
Man, that's a tough one. I honestly think everyone's just trying to do too much on this entire team, especially in hardpoint. Just watching them play, it always seems like someone's trying to make like a hero play, or someone's always trying to, basically they're not valuing their lives enough in hardpoint, and especially when it comes down to rotation.
Well, think about this time last year. They're pretty much a lock for top 3, right? It was Anaheim, Orlando, Champs. They all placed top 3. Is it even realistic to consider this team is capable of making a run a couple weeks from now?
I don't know. I mean, one thing we didn't notice is like Vicento just switched to the main MV4 role. I think a few weeks. It was right after Anaheim. Like he switched leading into this.
It was him and Vicento were both kind of running the 2 ARs. Right?
Well, yeah.
Or
And then Vicento and Aqua.
Vicento
Yeah,
and
now it's
Aqua, yeah,
Vicento's main MV4, and I think that's a weird change for them. I don't think they were like ready
I think
for
they'll
that.
switch back.
Yeah, I think they'll switch back as well. I think Aqua was really good in that role, and Bryce needed to be able to kind of do what he wanted to do on the map and have a little more freedom to make those clutch plays, and he didn't because he's always sitting in the back when they are. I don't know. I think, Naga for Looney, I think that was a good switch early on in the game, but I think in that later half of the game, I think Naga is a better player compared to Looney in the later halves of a COD.
Well, we saw how the last group played out. It was a difficult run for Rise. Ultimately, Splice and United do come out into top 2, even though Splice looked a little bit, I think we can all agree, vulnerable at times, certainly. But let's look forward to the schedule now for this week. It's why we're all here. It's the green group. We've got a sold-out venue here this weekend at the Columbus Arena. First things first, it's going to be Epsilon versus Envy to kick it off. Dave, talk to me a little bit of how important it is to have a strong start on day one. I mean, we've seen teams going like 0-2, then 0-4 holes. How big is it for you in that first match?
Well, I'd say it's pretty important to see because last season we went 1-on-1 every day and we always lost the first game. So getting that first win, it'll just drive you on to getting the second of the day.
Well, and that's like, you got to think about what you were in a situation stage 1 where, it's final match, you didn't really control your own destiny. You had to watch a United Luminosity play, which I'm sure was more stressful than playing in that environment.
Vortex gravity gun. Love that.
You gotta, trying to get a hot start this time. Let's talk a little bit just about your rosters. We usually ask the teams this each week. Just kind of hear who you have a lot of faith in coming in this week. Maybe in scrims has been going off. Pat, with Cloud9, who are you looking to kind of explode and why this weekend?
It's got to be Priesta. I mean, I think there's a lot of people, in the pro players and community that just have a general consensus of how good he actually is and how fast and I guess able to just explode at any moment, especially with an ERAD.
Well, people, I think Clay, amongst some others, are saying they think he's one of the most skilled players in the game.
Yeah, honestly, I think he has like that best kind of slide mechanic, able to get a kill off a slide and kind of create a two-piece for himself. But I mean, overall, it's just he has an ability to explode at any time on almost any map, and I think. He's been super consistent. He was consistent at Anaheim, and he's been consistent in practice since. So I think definitely looking at him to go off.
All right, Ian, for Optic, I know you guys haven't had the results you've wanted over the past month or so. Grinding now to get to stage 2. Champs right around the corner.
Yeah.
Has anyone kind of been maybe standing out, turning it into another gear?
Definitely Seth and Matt. Before this event, they've been looking, really good online. And I don't know if it's because Damon and myself have sort of, switched to like the bait role. Basically we're flying out, we're going crazy, while they're in the back just like picking other people off.
Well, if you're willing to do that, makes it easy for the Slayers, right?
Yeah, no. So basically, myself, Damon, and usually Seth is also, also going to be bait for Matt. But basically, going into practice, going into scrims, we didn't care about KD at all. We just cared about the win.
Yeah, and so I think that's a tough thing to do sometimes when you have as much talent as on this lineup. Somebody has to kind of eat a bullet a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think that was our biggest problem. Just, someone is going to have to, look bad for us to win.
Yeah, no.
I said that in an interview. I think you guys had too much talent sometimes, and that.
Oh yeah. Well, think about what Pristini with the United. He would be that guy that he's like, I guess I'm going to have a 0.8 to a 0.9 in most events, and then all of a sudden Gunless is gone, and he was dropping bombs this past weekend. You need somebody to fill that role for sure. Envy, JCap, who are you looking out for to get big?
I'm looking at John. He's
been looking all year.
Nah, John's been solid. He started a little slow this year, but he's been good lately. And in practice, he looks like he's getting back towards that Black Ops 3 form. So I would look for him to go big this weekend.
Well, overall, just kind of with your team, what do you think has been the biggest issue? Because I know I brought it up a couple times, but talked to Karma, I think, at Dallas, and he's like, I can't wrap my head around why we're not playing in finals against Envy. Like they have all the pieces. What do you think's been the single biggest thing?
I think it's a few things. I think the biggest thing is as the year's gone on and we haven't seen the success we had last year, we've kind of lost faith in each other a little bit, and we boot camp before this event for a week, and I think that actually helped that aspect a lot. So hopefully I'm right about that, and we show it this weekend.
Well, last time you guys were in a real tough spot was before Atlanta. I remember you had a boot camp for that 2K. I think you ended up winning it. You just squeezed in. So not really in a similar position, but in some ways, yes, it's grind time, and you guys are back to the drawing board figuring it out pre-champs. Dave, for Epsilon, buddy, who's going off this weekend?
Normally, I'd say myself, but
you will.
Steve-O, Vortex, he's impressing me the past few weeks, to be fair to him. He's normally pretty inconsistent, but he's stepped up his game. He's doing really well, so I'm going to say him.
He's your E-Rad player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think having a good E-Rad player is probably the most important thing right now.
Oh, certainly. I mean, it holds true, right? End of every COD, you see more and more subs become dominant, more sub players. Erad has been, I mean, it's been frustrating players. So you see, we saw, what was it, Silly last week? He was like mapping NV4 players with it. The gun is incredible.
Gun's
but
ridiculous sometimes.
it certainly is strong, but it'll be interesting to see what Vortex is able to do. Now, we want to talk a little bit, you know, I love storylines as a caster, and there's some feuds sort of developing between different players coming into this. You may have seen, it was kind of, it came out of nowhere for me, but Clay kind of going to Gunless a little bit on Twitter. They were going back and forth. Do you think that's getting hammed up a bit just for fun on social media, or is there a little bit something maybe more there?
I don't know if it's a Clay versus Gunless rivalry, just a Clay wanting to be better than how Gunless was on United type of thing. Like, Clay gets kind of forced into this position where Gunless was forced to go to FaZe, or Clay was forced to go to United because Gunless went to FaZe, and I think he just wants to be like, hey, I was better with these guys than you were, type of thing, and I think that's got him riled up.
Well, it certainly played out well statistically last week. What do you think,
Dropping
Cap?
Clayster, he just becomes like a psycho. He becomes so obsessed with being better and winning, and dropping Clayster's scary because a dropped Clayster is better than any other one we've ever seen, and I don't know, that I think the Twitter incident itself was more Clay had a few drinks that night. I think if the drinks were taken out of the equation, we probably never would have seen that. But yeah, like I said, just Clayster getting dropped, scary.
Well, you've played with Clayster right after being dropped.
Yes.
You guys have been in positions where you've had to drop Clay. He's been on basically every major.
Yeah, he didn't do
organization.
anything that year, did he?
Almost.
Close.
Almost. And then map 5 came around, and I didn't die.
There we go.
Wow, Krim.
The 12
You're
and 0.
nasty, dude. You're nasty.
Hey, Krim, good job, bud.
Thank you.
All right, next up, the other one we will talk about, which is one that I didn't know existed exactly. We talked about Clay and Gunless. I saw rated in 0, sort of, well, more rated going at 0. And Dave, I want you to talk about your tweet. You can read these string of tweets at home. What's going on right now with some of the EU COD players in 0?
So now that's a quality meme.
That is.
Say, if you're gonna get your nose brown every weekend you're in America, like you just not, everyone's not gonna like you, and it's just really annoys me. So
Who has a brown nose, Dave?
Trey.
Okay.
Trey.
Oh.
Well, I didn't know. Like, I
that should be clear.
find 0 to be like one of the most likable guys. I love hanging out with him. He's a great player.
He's
But
nice to speak to, but he just gets on my nerves. Gets on everyone's nerves.
well, I didn't know that there was like that some, I guess, animosity, maybe the word, kind of between Epsilon and Splice, well, specifically with 0. I saw that and I was like, where is that coming from? But little did I know it's been brewing for quite some time.
Ass out in the open now, and everyone knows.
Oh, well, Twitter, yes, that is public. All right, next thing I want to talk about a little bit, guys, is going to be sort of who your MVP contenders are right now over the course of the entire year. So who have been the standouts? We're talking from, you know, Vegas onward. Who are the people that really stand out? We'll start at the end this time. Dave, for you, it could be North America, European, APAC, I guess we can throw in there for fun. Who has been sort of your, I guess if you had to pick an MVP right now over the course of the year?
Probably most people say, I'd say Octane. I've played against him 4 times this year in like the past 2 months. So I'm scared of challenging him in most gunfights. Like, he just beams me every time. So I'd have to say him. Which
is insane to think, because you've probably been on a very short list of top MV4 players yourself. I mean, you've been putting up crazy stats at events and not wanting to.
Stop.
Hey, you've been great. So to hear that from you, just like I'm scared to challenge him in some gunfights, I think speaks volumes. Cap, for you.
I would say Octane. But since I could easily see this table going 4 for 4 in Octane, I want to give a shout out to my man Nicky D Classic. I think, I'm not gonna say he's the MVP, but he is very underrated in my opinion. I think he's a top 5 player in this game, and I don't know if it's because he never goes on Twitter or does anything public at all, but no one really seems to give him that credit.
Well, I think he's maybe the least flashy. Like when Octane kind of jumps to mind. He's always the one dropping those bombs, but actually Classic during their week of stage 2 was their best player, even statistically, over at Octane.
I didn't watch that week.
Octane wasn't feeling really well. Classic was phenomenal throughout the course.
To be fair, though, their week was kind of super easy, so I mean, Classic might be the noob slayer as well.
Oh,
but
Nicky D, the noob slayer.
No, I'm gonna have to say Octane though, just because I don't feel like there's an AR right now that can beat him in a head-to-head fight on a consistent level. I mean, you've seen him and Formal go back and forth, and that's kind of been the one who did before. But, I mean, outside of any other team, like, I don't think Slasher's standing a chance. Dave, scared to challenge?
Half and half, maybe.
It's just he's so good at that role, and I think right now, I mean, that's just one of the most important roles on the team, and for him to be that good, it's definitely his MVP.
Krem, for you.
I would say 0.
Okay.
Because he's got Search. He's got Search over Octane.
Yeah, well,
I think.
You must have not watched their week.
I was actually going to say.
He had a bad week, but when they won Season 1, like,
he had like a 1-6 in Search or something like that.
He was doing a lot in Search, so.
And that's actually.
I mean, when you're good on all 5 game types, and like not good, but you're great on all 5 game types, to me, that's MVP.
You're next level. What COD is he playing? We got 5 games.
All 3, yeah.
All 5 maps.
All 5 maps, yeah.
All 5 maps. If you're good on all 5, you know, it doesn't matter what map comes along with what game mode. And if you're good on all of them, I think you should be MVP.
I think that's actually partially why Octane skyrocketed for a lot of people too, though, because I mentioned before, but his actually resurgence in Search has been stupid. Like from a lock at like a 0.7 KD in Search, he's actually been dropping like 1-2 plus recently, which is one of the biggest flips we've seen. But yeah, I think those two would probably be the most consistent answers. Zero just having a rough weekend this past time. All right, let's move forward. This next one's called Would You Rather? With Maven on hot mic.
Oh, not the easy.
Oh, things are about to get sexy. No, they're not. They're not going to get sexy. The first one. Would you rather lose Game 5, Round 11 in a grand final, or win, but lose your Twitter verification?
What?
Dude, the thing is,
I'll lose my
Twitter
Twitter
verification. Hold on, before we get into this, have you guys noticed how many people on Twitter are verified from the community now? It's annoying. Those guys gotta go. Some of you don't deserve it. All these teams in the last chance qualifier, I see every player verified.
I'm not even worried about that. The Twitter verification isn't that cool. I'd rather,
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
I don't know.
I just let my producer know that one got changed last minute. I knew you all would say, screw it, I'd lose the verification.
Oh. Pac-Man deliberately changed his ad to lose his Twitter verification. He didn't care anymore.
Well, now that everybody is basically verified, right?
Have you ever seen anyone with like hundreds of thousands of followers that's not verified?
Yeah, that's true.
It's the new thing.
It's true. It's true. All right, next up. Would you rather have the final season of Game of Thrones spoiled, or I'm elaborating here, or get a tattoo of a rival player's name on your lower back?
Well, I don't watch Game of Thrones, so you can
Thrones,
spoil it for me
100%.
all you want. I don't care.
I watch. It's a great show.
I would get Courage tattooed on my back if I had to choose between that and Game of Thrones.
But you're a freak.
I love Game
You'd
of
get
Thrones.
that anyway.
You love Courage.
That's true. We're roommates,
What if it was
gym
Revan?
partners, lovers. Revan, I just get his face, like his big goofy
About
face.
Matt.
No. You could tell me who's winning the Game of Thrones. I don't care at that point. Okay, last would you rather? Lose the 2017 CWL Championship or never be able to eat Chipotle again?
I'm going to Qdoba.
Yeah, never eat
Yeah,
Chipotle.
never eat Chipotle.
Yeah, but I thought that was like your favorite thing in the world.
I think it's really good, but the big thing about Chipotle is it's convenient for me. It's the closest restaurant to my house.
Don't worry about it, Cap. You're not winning the CWL 2017 championship anyway, so
Neither are you.
you're good. Just eat your Chipotle.
You'll probably never win ever.
You're not even making out of this group, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm picking Dave this. You're winning champs this year.
Stop, man. You're going to make me blush.
All right. This next video we want to take a look at. So this is actually from, I believe, it's like early February. We did this piece. This is back when I had hair on my head. Don't laugh too much because it's disgusting.
Oh, God.
But this is from a long time ago, before Atlanta. We talked about kind of the idea around a champ's curse. Let's take a look at the video and we'll discuss afterwards.
Speaking of the Champs Curse, when you look at Impact, this is a team that won Champs Black Ops 2 2013. 3 months later, they've already broken up. There are problems internally. The team may be fighting. Team chemistry is not there. Whatever the issue, this Champs team has fallen apart.
Now, after we saw Impact fall apart after Black Ops 2, it was Complexity's turn after they won the Call of Duty Ghost COD Champs. This is a team that was one of the best in Call of Duty history. They started to get a little bit too confident, a little bit too cocky.
We're going undefeated this entire year. I love my team. We're the best team in the game. No one's going to touch us at all.
They suffered from some internal team struggles, and they ultimately fell to the COD Champs curse.
The most recent example of where we've seen this curse really come into play was the old Denial roster back in Advanced Warfare. Clayster attached JCap and replays. Not many people thought they would actually win champs. Well, they take it, but then they lose every event they go to. They break up within 2 months. All sides are pointing towards a potential similar circumstance to this Envy team.
You can talk about the Champs curse all you want, but let's be honest, it's BS, and it's just a few fun facts that are fun to throw together. Envy, realistically, they got off to a slow start, and for good reason. Apathy just got married. They didn't have as much time in the game as they wanted, but now everyone's back. They're focused. They're on the grind, and they know that they're behind in pro points. Atlanta is going to be a huge tournament for them. They have to finish in the top 8 or even higher if they want a chance of getting into the Big 9 that will advance into Stage 1 of CWL.
You know what I think watching this? I think it's all BS, obviously, but I mean, I don't think we'll ever see like one team stick together, win champs, stick together throughout the entire next year, and win the next one.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, the reason this was mostly a fluff piece, but we did it because pretty much each team broke up within like 2 to 3 months after it.
Except ours.
Except, well, yours, it ended up being 3 months, I believe.
No.
Champs was in March, and we broke up in late August, and we won 3 events in that time period.
All right.
We won.
Someone didn't do their research.
We did the best comeback of all time.
Yeah, right?
Niagara.
One Stage 1 playoffs, or whatever it was called then, season 1.
Envy just got top 24.
Yeah, well, they suck, but we're talking about a real God squad here. Like, we won 3 events, lost X Games, and got, what, 5th through 8th at Gfinity, and then Teep got proposed to his girlfriend. Damon was having his little girl, and things just didn't go our way. But, I mean, overall, I don't think we got affected by that.
That's the greatest team all time.
Oh, yeah. No one's been able to beat it.
All right, let's move forward and talk a little bit about champs in general now. So I kind of want to hear from some of the veteran side, and then Dave, who's been newer to champs. We'll ask a couple questions around. But first, I guess, Pat, I'd like to know, what is it like for you? We know champs is different than any other event. Preparing players like maybe Exotic, like Priest, who don't have as much experience on the big stage.
So your question is, what is it like preparing them?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think for me, a lot of it comes down to like players kind of lose confidence at that event for whatever reason. You know, so much money's on the line. It's such an important event, has so much prestige in it. You can't lose confidence. You got to go into it like you're playing an online scrim, and it sounds silly, but I mean, I think the biggest thing for champs in general, for all players, is just having that confidence in yourself and in your team to just be like, hey, we know what we're doing. We're gonna perform. All we gotta do is show up on that day, and we're fine. But I think the fact that they're so hungry is what makes it so easy to kind of just, hey, look, guys, I'll gas you up. Just do what you do, and we'll be fine.
Well, I guess I kind of want to also hear, just in general, from maybe Cap and Krem. You guys have been to a lot of champs, obviously. Why is it so much different from a pressure standpoint? Just because it's the biggest event of the year, there's so much money. Like, what separates it? What's different for you as a player going in?
I don't know. You play more, you practice more, I think. But at the end of the day, it's another event. I don't think anyone. I would say some people maybe get a bit more nervous that the spot kind of gets them get in their head, but overall, I think it's just another event. Everyone prepares for the same way they do at any other event for the most part.
Same for you?
No, well, I'm taking sort of like that mindset that it's just another event. You know, basically we've been looking at champs like, you know, we win champs, we're going to solidify ourselves as like the best team of all time, right? But now this year, I think we're just going in to have fun. You know, it's just any other event. So basically that pressure that we've been applying to ourselves it's not there this year.
That's why it's tough being a top team, right? It's like you apply a little bit more pressure to yourself when you're expected to win. Dave, I want to hear from you. I know champs was your first one last year. You finished 4th. What was the actual event like versus maybe your expectations going into it?
Well, my expectation was probably, I was predicting ourselves like probably like a top 16 or something like that, to be fair, because I didn't really have much confidence in us, because we didn't qualify for season 2. We just missed out on that, and I think not many people had confidence in us as well.
I think Brycey was one of the few that was like, these guys are really, really good. I remember talking to him about it a bit, but
I didn't think we'd beat the teams we did, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? Like it just rolled off the momentum, and I'm so happy like how it turned out. Like four of us, all first time in America playing, and to get 4 is just pretty sick.
And you went through aches to do it.
I was fine now.
I mean, I fell asleep in their match. In their face. You said the momentum. I thought you just there was no momentum in that match. You guys did not move, but.
All right, let's move it forward now. We asked the question earlier about the champs moments. What are your fans' favorites? We're going to talk with the guys about theirs in a moment, but I want to see some of the answers we got. The question: what's your favorite CWL champs moment? You were using the hashtag MLGHotMic. Let's see what some of these answers are. This is from Melterson. I like that name. Optic first call, Black Ops 2 COD Champs, Game 5, Round 11. Scump destroys Aches and Crimson.
He shot us both in our side.
That is why this is
shot us both in our back.
What was he watching?
No, remember Too Quick was watching the tunnel, and because Scump killed Too Quick, he shot me and you in our back.
That's just slow reaction.
What is this? Why did you guys bring this up?
Hey, this was not me.
This was just bait.
This is a fan. This is Melterson.
Oh, that guy needs.
You need to go rewatch that map because the only person he destroyed was Too Quick, and then he shot 2 people on the side.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. He
Destroyed you.
Yeah, the tunnel head glitch with an AR loses it to a sub.
Well, let's see if maybe the next one's a little bit more accurate. Sorry, Melterson, we love your feedback. This is from Jordan saying YT. The moment has to be Bance's glitch against Elevate last year, or Map 1 Fringe Hardpoint Rise versus Splice. Both were intense. I believe if he's talking about the Bance, wasn't that the glitch on glitch, him and Facento?
Oh, this guy's
Hunted?
European 100% because I don't remember either of those plays.
You don't remember the glitch on glitch play? That play was insane. Like they were basically hopping through the waterfall. They're both on the wall run. One glitched, the other one glitched immediately, ended up on the other sides. It was actually
that was losers finals, right?
Yeah, it was an absurd sequence of events.
Who won the 1v1?
I believe Bance did, if I'm correct.
For the map.
Yeah, it was round 11 for the map. All right, so I want to talk to the players now about their favorite moments. I reached out to you guys a little bit beforehand so you can think about some of your history. I know, Dave, you've got the 1 champs, but you got the top 4 finish. We reached out to you. What's your favorite moment?
I'd probably say when we reverse swept Splice. I think, what was it for top 8, I think it was? Or top 6. We reverse swept them, and that's the first ever reverse swept we'd done it as a team and at an event, so that feeling was insane.
Well, you also told me that it was knocking out Aches.
Oh, that was another thing as well. Watching out, second kill I get, he gets beamed.
We're gonna watch.
There he is, gone.
He's gone, and Lacefield shooting.
He's gone as well.
For the 1v2. Did that hurt you, Patrick?
Wow, he got lucky. Wall running, man.
Those shots were nice.
What happens next year?
Oh, well, we'll see. That's true. Back to boots on the ground. So it was the 1v2 for Dave, and you also talked about the reverse sweep of Slice. I'll ask Krim. I don't believe we got a video for you just because you didn't respond to me on DMs. But you've got a lot of champs memories. For you, what is maybe your favorite single moment from champs? It could be a victory, it could be a play, and it stands out.
Probably beating Optic in Ghost. In what, like winners finals?
Yeah, it was winners finals.
Yeah.
3-2.
There was a time when I first came into casting. It was like end of Black Ops 2 into Ghost, and I thought there were 2 people that I would never see in an Optic jersey, and it was you 2. It's just crazy how far things have come. Now representing the OG. Yeah. But that was a crazy series for sure. JCap, let's go to you next. I reached out, and you were talking to the winning moments you've had.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch.
Probably just the wins, the 2 wins I've had, probably the best moments. The best play I had, in my opinion, was the one you missed in COD.
Oh, come on!
Last year, to play against Optical Fringe CTF, maybe missing in COD, so no one got to see it.
Listen, the fact that I was driving as long as I was absurd. Now
who was it that you gunned, Cap?
First formal, then Krim got punched by my D-pad.
Yeah, because you were directly below me. I literally landed on.
You made a horrible play.
No, I was on the wall run. High.
Yeah, horrible play.
No, I didn't have help.
I love the final moments from this though.
We have 3 people on our base, and we can't kill 1 guy.
Who picks you up here, Ken?
Name was in a dart there, right?
Stro.
Is it Stro? Look at that. He's strong because you're a big boy.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I still remember. I thought he was going for a hug, and then next thing I know, I was up in the air. I was like, okay, this is happening.
God, that's probably the highlight of my career from like a casting standpoint. That venue with like the USA chants and everything. It was absolutely amazing. Pat, I believe one of your favorite moments. You've had a lot too, but it came down to an interview with me, and let's also reflect upon the fact that I have fake hair on my head.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that. What is on my head? But here, quiet. Let's hear this
You
interview.
have some back and forth with Optic Gaming. You've taken some flack over your performance, your drive coming into this. How did this win feel specifically?
You know, playing him this early, honestly, I didn't want to do it, but I wanted it to be grand finals. But I mean, beating him here was just as good. I told Krim when EG split up that I would beat him where it matters, and then I won Columbus. And going into this match, it was like, this is for I think top 6, so putting him in 8th place. I gave him 3 events in the past few months, and I told him this event was the one that mattered, and I'd beat him here. So felt really good to do it, and especially in the fashion that we did in the 3-0, and it was kind of a whomping after game 1. So definitely something I'm really proud of.
So Pat, why was that one important to you? I know you two obviously have a ton of history. That's why I was so excited to have you guys on the desk. But why was that particular moment a special one for you?
I mean, going into AW, me and Krim talked about making a sort of team that kind of became a really similar team of what Optic created, on a team that was created on Optic with it had been Formal coming over to us for Damon, and then that team went to Optic, and then I beat him at Columbus, and then I guess the biggest thing for me was.
You can't be talking trash about a first event.
No, yeah, no, that's my point. Even though you got reverse swept twice, but anyway, going into champs, it was the one event that mattered so much, and able to 3-0 him, especially with Slasher and Parasite. It was kind of a last-minute pickup team from FaZe to FaZe Red. We only had I think one event before champs, and then we beat him 3-0 and knocked him out at 8th. But I think last year was honestly one of the best moments for me. I know there wasn't much like interview highlights from it, but I mean, not even so much toward the players, but
so
toward
what happens
the crowd.
when you go to the losers bracket so early?
Well, yeah, but toward the crowd, I think last year was like the crowd was all against us. I mean, and Lacefield was on our team, and he was catching a ton of flack that entire series, and I just think the amount we got fired up in that series kind of is all I'm always going to remember that, and that moment when we won that round 11, and I kind of went right to the crowd and kind of was like, yeah, what's up now kind of thing, and I always remember that.
No, that's definitely, I think, up there is one of my favorite moments all time. I was watching that down on the floor. But back to that FaZe Red team, I decided that my favorite moment was going to be the worst team kill in COD Champs history.
It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad.
I told Enable, I said, hey man, you gotta move. There's a grenade next to the van.
Look how bad your grenade is, though.
Okay, so this wasn't my strat. I was told to do this. I had a double grenade class, and I was gonna jump over. If you look right here, I think I jumped.
How do you got? There's the team kill. So what happens? This is round 11. This is game 5, right?
No, it's game 2.
Oh, was it game 2?
And we were up 6-2 or 5-2 in this map, so it doesn't matter. We threw this map away regardless. But we had a strat where off spawn I'm gonna use double grenades, and we knew that they rushed that catwalk right there to low A, and we studied what was his name? TR here? Yeah, we'd studied them and we knew what they did. I forgot which player it was, but we called the strat. I was going to double nade over our spawn building. One went over, and then I was like, as I was falling, I threw my second grenade, and it bounced off the tip of our roof building, and it bounced all the way back to our spawn. There was a van, and if it wasn't a car explosion, I wouldn't have killed him. But I was like, Enable, you got to move. I messed up my nade, and like he didn't react to it as well. He didn't know what I was saying at first, and he like didn't jump, and I killed him. But I went on to get first blood that round.
Yeah, you first blooded Enable.
And I got another first blood.
So you made it 3-on-3.
You got carried that whole tournament. Like, why are you speaking?
I won.
Yeah, you're lucky you had Clan Attach.
You did win, baby.
It was dope.
No, but is there a team kill like close to that I'm not thinking of from a champs, like with that online? That was for top 3, right, at the time?
Yeah, but it was just map 2.
It was.
And we blew map 1. Like that whole series, it should have gone our way. We choked map 1. TR, if you're watching this, you know it. We blew map 1. Game 2, we're up 5-2, and then game 3, we beat them on Detroit Uplink, and then we lose a CTF because they're using IMRs and stuff, which was something at the time that a lot of teams didn't use, and it was just a lame match, but.
That's got a lot of excuses.
He does.
That was just a lame match.
Well, we went through some of our favorite moments. Now we wanted to get the questions from you guys on Twitter. Questions for the pro players up here to discuss. The first one, we talked about this last week. Ben, I'm curious too. So, Cap, has this thing died down yet, or are you still?
It's comfortable.
Is that all it is?
You were overpowered, so I got it banned.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that was me.
Shut up. Saxon sandals are comfortable. I don't like.
You can't wear them anymore.
I can if I want to.
But we want you to have a girlfriend.
Wait, he can wear sandals, but I can't wear shorts?
Are those rules?
I ban your shorts.
Those are the rules. I can't wear shorts.
Nobody wants to see those white legs.
Dude, I hit leg day.
I'll tell you who doesn't hit leg day. Go look at Jack right now. He's lost like 40 pounds, and he's put up muscle up here. His legs look like a couple of toothpicks. It's not good. It's not good. What's the next question from you guys on Twitter? Let's take a look. Next one. I'd like Dave to let us know what makes a good wing. So where did this wink thing start for you? Because you got a great smile and you got one hell of a wink.
Right. It was ESWC in Black Ops 3. Like the cameras would come across, like to each player, and I didn't know what to do, so I just winked, and then it got a good response. And since then, I just keep doing it.
I like it. Oh, there. God, you're like a European Ryan Gosling. Next question.
That's your celebrity crush, isn't it? That it was?
We talked about this.
Goddamn right it is.
Week 1.
Yeah, I cannot wait for Blade Runner 2049 in October. Aches, what's it like teaming with 2 players 4 years younger than you, and is there a lot you have to teach them?
It's actually weird playing with players now that are younger than me, because I think I was always the youngest on almost every team that I ever had. Kind of coming up, I was always the youngest one. So now I just turned 23 and I'm playing with these young guns. It's fun, you know. I mean, seeing their passions, like they want to win more than anything, and I don't really feel like there's much to teach them in terms of like, hey, this is how you need to play. It's just more of like, hey, like the biggest thing in a lot of Call of Duty players is just that ability to close, that ability to finish, and like a general consensus like what you need to do when you, like in those clutch situations. I think that's the only thing like really that those players need to work on. But I mean, it's fun, man. I'm enjoying it.
I'm trying to think of just like overall ages of some of these teams. Like what's like your average on Epsilon? What's the average age of you guys? Like
I think we have 3 19-year-olds.
So young, very young. I thought so.
21.
And Cap, Optic and Envy have to be 2 of the oldest teams, right?
We have 3 23-year-olds and John's 21.
Oh yeah, so like you're like averaging 4 years older.
The craziest thing to me in COD is Clay's legitimately 7 years older than the Twins.
That actually.
RC's and Pristini. 7 years.
They're 18.
Yeah, they're 18.
Wow.
That's absurd.
I like for some reason I think that Clay
I think they just had their birthday. I think they're 19 now.
I think about Clay being like 23 in my head because that's where like the kind of older guys are. 23, 24, 26, dude. He is up there, and obviously from last week he is still performing. But we have one more question on Twitter. Let's see what you guys asked. If you could team with anyone that you've never teamed with before, who would you choose? Dave, we'll start with you on the end. Is there anyone you've like maybe really wanted to team with and haven't had a chance to?
I'd say probably Jared.
Jared?
Like when I first started watching like EU players, he was the one which like mainly stood out, and like I've always like wouldn't say like was a fan because he's competition now, but I'd always looked up to him back then.
He's been around for a long time. I think a lot of players come in as
Jared.
fans of other players.
I had a pleasure playing with him. He was a good teammate, really good teammate.
Yeah, Moose was.
You did too, actually, didn't you?
Moose was too.
He's a good teammate. He didn't play that well with us, but we got 4th. Somehow with a bad roster.
Cap, you. Anyone you haven't had a chance to and you'd like to?
Honestly, well, first off, I've teamed with a lot of players, like just about.
You get around.
Anything you think of. Honestly, the one I would pick is Krim. I hate to say it. Sounds corny as hell, but if you think I've teamed with just about everyone. I've teamed with everyone else on Optic. Octane I've teamed with. My whole team. It's like I've teamed with a lot of players, so Krim's the one to never play with.
I've teamed with like no one.
Well, okay, then you get to pick anyone. You don't feel any pressure to pick J-Cap. Who would you want to team with? Anyone that you haven't?
No, before Cap said that, I was going to say Rambo.
What?
For the lulz. But over there.
Remember, Tickaboo. That was the best one.
I miss Ray. I love that guy.
Express S&D call out. He's in Tickaboo.
Pat, who for you?
Probably Nameless. It's a weird pick, but
he's comical, man.
Yeah, me and Nameless have been around, I think, about the same amount of time, and that's crazy to think about. We've been playing for almost like Call of Duty for like almost a decade, but we've never teamed once. And I just think him in like the right zone with the right teammates, I feel like he could be extremely good. But I just feel like I'd have a really fun time with Nameless.
Awesome. All right. Well, obviously
Nameless has been playing the longest.
Yeah, consistently. Yeah.
No one. I don't see any of you casters talking about this.
Talk about Nameless playing for
Nameless has played since like COD 2.
Yeah.
I know he's been around for a long time. Do I need to bring it up more?
He was like the 14-year-old in COD 2 that was like trying to play competitive.
Well, we're Nameless, like I don't know, for me always, because I came in into Black Ops 2. I always think of like that Champs running Ghost for me as where like Nameless, I was like, holy hell, this guy's a god.
I mean, he hasn't had like the most success, but he's been around consistently the longest, I think, for sure.
Well, that's probably my fault because I wasn't around back then. I was alive, as I'm incredibly old. Okay, so our next segment is going to be just cringy and awful, but Pat had a special request. He asked if we could.
Sarcasm.
Could we add a segment where I rub your head and predict everyone at the desk's immediate future? Now, Pat, we can do this.
So you want me to stand up? You'd have to take your headset off.
Well, I'll just go like this. Now, do you want to predict the results of the weekend,
What's the immediate future?
Yeah, like what's going to happen after this show?
Like, what am I going to eat tonight?
No, I guess I was thinking more like within the next 3 weeks.
Okay,
So like now to champs time.
All right, so who are you starting with?
I guess I'll do on the end, Dave.
Okay.
Oh, this is fuzzy.
Oh,
I thought it was bald.
This is as weird. This is as weird as I thought it would be.
A little sweaty. Let's just cut. That wasn't a great idea. We'll just cut from that segment. No need to finish. We all are gonna have nightmares tonight from that. So
that was bad.
That's our immediate future.
COD champs coming up next in 3 weeks.
Very sweaty.
Dude, you're ruining his suit.
I'm having a lot of fun with you guys.
Oh,
God damn it. Okay, so COD champs, it's around the corner. We tried to show the hype video earlier in the show, but someone screwed it up to mess with Krim. Let's take a look at the actual video because it's hype.
Can't wait to throw those rings on combo. Back to the back. World champion. Attach is on it. He's on it. The Centauri's gonna fall. And Attach is gonna get the defuse. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2016 Call of Duty champions, Team NBA. Oh, this crowd is ready! The time has come! Look at Scuff in the camera!
If you haven't bought Champs tickets yet, do it now. MLG.TV/CWL Champs. You know, we've been talking about some of our fonder memories over the course of the history that is COD Esports. I know I'm incredibly excited. It is the most fun event for me to cast throughout the year. The best for viewers, the best for the players, the most pressure, the most money. Buy tickets. There's like Disneyland, Universal.
Disney World.
It's going to be Disney World.
There's like Disneyland.
It's going to be probably 98 and humid. But it's going to be great. I'm really excited, though. It's going to be an absolute blast. Now, to remind you guys, we're here for the Green Group. Hopefully, you're coming out to visit us this weekend. If not, and you're watching from home, here's a reminder. The schedule, starting at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Epsilon Envy, followed by Optic Cloud9, Epsilon Cloud9, and then to round out the night, it's Optic Gaming going up against Team Envious.
First and last, man.
Oh, you'll be fine. Don't worry. You'll get some sleep tonight. We're probably going to go see...
Yeah, I'm going to sleep good.
We're going to go see Dunkirk. It's going to be a good time. But once again, thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to come on. Any final thoughts from everybody heading into the week 4?
I just think this is the best group by far. I don't think there's going to be one of those matchups where you're like, oh, I want to wait for this to be done to see a good one.
It depending on what Envy we get. Is Envy showing up this weekend? I'll tell you what, if you show up this weekend, this is going to be like the most entertaining group of all time.
Oh, okay.
So just show up for me, for the fans, for the boys in blue.
How are you guys looking, Cap?
Pretty good. I mean, depends on the day.
You're all in Charlotte, right? Recently?
Yeah, we were.
What's the internet speed there? 1,000 by 1,000?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Must have been nice.
Oh, yeah.
Must have been nice.
We didn't host scrims, though. Teams would tell us to
You
host.
wouldn't need to.
We were just like, no.
Dave,
I heard
you're the lone European team. Final thought going into this week.
I'm ready to cook.
I like it. Ready to cook. Guys, tomorrow, 4 p.m., MLG.TV. We'll see you there.